What is up, guys? It is your boy MCRulz here, back for another Hero Cantare video. And today, the top guild in Hero Cantare Milk has released a tier list ranking all characters currently released on the global version of the game. So Queen No Name is excluded on this list as of now, ranking them in their usefulness in terms of PvP, lab cleanup, Advent 1 to 12, and all the 13 pluses in Advent bosses. So, I've had quite a thorough look at the tier list, and it's made by Milk. Obviously, I'm going to agree with most of the things that they say, but I've just picked out, because, it's obviously coming from a whole lot of people who, spend money on the game. So, I've come up with, kind of my own adjustments in, the perspective of somebody who probably doesn't spend as much money on the game. So, I'm just going to hop right into it. So, one of the first things that stuck out to me is that they put Flamecoin as S in PvP. So I said that I'd probably bump Flamecoin up to an SS just because he revives. So, early rounds PvP, if you're not at that high of, PvP level where, your character's, getting one shot pretty much, having Flamecoin there, it's gonna help, because if one of your character dies, then he'll revive them, with his C2. And he also does, AoE, burn damage and stuff like that. So, Kun, he's probably quite useful in PvP for, a lower ranked player. I'm not sure what it's like for, members in Milk, but that's what I said. I'd personally bump him up to an SS. I might be wrong, but, you never really know. They put Kaiser in lab as an A. So I said I would put Kaiser, I'll just bump her up to an S maybe, because down here on the list they put Sujin as an S. But I feel like, if you're a free-to-play player, you're probably going to find a lot more use in running Kaiser in your lab team, especially for, the harder dungeons. You're probably going to find more use in running Kaiser over running Sujin, because Kaiser boosts the defense of your entire team by 50% for 2 turns, whereas Sujin, with her C1, boosts her own defense, and they do both taunt. So, I'd probably say you might find more use running Kaiser in lab if you're, a lower-ranked player. I would also say in terms of lower ranked player, you'd probably put Sujin down to an A rank instead of an S. I do think overall, Sujin Lee is a better tank than Kaiser in most events, but in Guild Lab, just the defense boost for your whole team, which keeps them alive, I think that's probably going to be a lot more useful than running Sujin, who boosts herself and will tank probably a lot better than Kaiser during, the later rounds of the game, because Kaiser needs time to build up. But I think, overall, in most dungeons, you'll probably find Kaiser being more useful. That's for a low-ranked player anyway. So then we also have, they put Pure Green Arden, the new one, as a B in Labyrinth. So, okay, so she's here. So they put her as a B in Labyrinth, whereas they put Chloris as an S. I definitely think that Pure Green Iron is worse than Chloris in Guild Labyrinth, but, I think B might be a little bit too harsh, because you've also got here, you've got Sora in B, you've got, Uraz in B. So I'd probably put Arden up to an A, because, she's a healer. She does regen over time. I said in my last video that Arden is probably overall a better healer than Chloris. Yeah, so they seem to be ranked fairly evenly. I'd say, I'd say overall she's better, but she's not, outstandingly, she makes Chloris look terrible. I'll say they're fairly even. But, I probably wouldn't put her at a B in lab. I agree she is lower than Chloris, but I'll probably just bump her up to an A, because, she's also going to be useful there. Next, they put Jahad as an SS in lab. I'd put him up to SSS, because here we have the SSS and labs. We have King Dark, I agree with. Bomb, I agree with. Mira, I agree with. We have Yuri Ha. Yeah, I just feel like Jahad, he dishes out so much damage in Labyrinth, especially because his abilities, like the fact that he stacks if the opponent doesn't die, like in Labyrinth, that's a skill built for Labyrinth pretty much. Yeah, I'll bump him up to an SSS. He just does way too much damage in Labyrinth. I don't know why they've put him in SS, but you know, he does a lot of damage in Labyrinth. So yeah, I'd probably say I've got mine right now at SS, like SS rank in the game, 6-star, and you know, he dishes out a lot of damage. So yeah, onwards with that. We also have Arms for Guild Labyrinth. They put it at a B. I personally would put Arms at an A, especially for newer players, but you know, because Arms with a C3 boosts, what is it? She boosts crit rate and skill damage? Arms boosts skill damage and crit rate by 30% for 2 turns with a C3. Which is insane. If that was a C2, she would probably be SSS in Labyrinth. But, you know, it's a C3, which brings her down just a little bit because it takes a lot more mana. It takes, you know, double the mana that it would take to launch a C2 to launch her C3. Or is it triple? It would take triple, actually. So, yeah, I can understand why they haven't put her at, like, SS or, like, triple S. But I'll put her up to an A just because, you know, you can still find use in running that C3. I guess she is also kind of prone to dying in the later labs, but like early labs, you're probably gonna find her to be quite useful. So moving on, in Labyrinth they put White as an A. I said in my list that I'd probably actually put White as a double S because of his C3. So you can boost his crit rate with his C1, and then with his C3 you can stun all enemies on field, which is pretty useful in certain turns in Guild Labyrinth. I guess SS is actually a little bit higher because, you know, SS, who we got, I already said that he should be triple S, but SS you've got like, you know, Witch Mirror, so maybe S actually. Yeah, I'd probably put White at S, not SS, because I do think he's a little bit better than A. I think he's going to be better than, you know, Yuri Ha in Lab. But, you know, I think, yeah, S would probably work for White. Yuri Ha is an A in Lab, which I mostly agree with, because Yuri Ha, I ran her in Lab quite a lot. You know, I've run her in Lab quite a lot, and she's useful there because she boosts crit rate for the whole team for 2 turns with her C2. Which is quite good. So, but I think, you know, she's not going to be as useful as White. So, I think him at S would probably work, and her staying at A would probably work. So, moving on. I also have another one for Yuri Ha. So, I put her PvP. I bumped her PvP down from an A to a B, because I feel like she's probably just not doing that much in. You probably don't want to run her that much in PvP, to be honest. I mean, yeah, in our current PvP game mode, she's probably a B. I don't know what she'll be like in, like, I don't know, World Arena or something like that. But in our current PvP, she's probably a B rank. So, to the next one, we have Liddy. So, where is Liddy on this list? I cannot find Liddy. I have it written down here anyway. So they put Liddy in PvP at an S. If I can find it. Yo, I am so blind. Where is Liddy? What? No, I'm actually blind. Where's Liddy? Oh, okay, here's Liddy. So they ranked Liddy in PvP as an S. I said that you could probably argue the case that you could bump Liddy to an SS in PvP, granted that she doesn't die first, because Liddy's skill in PvP is that if an enemy dies first, then Liddy can't die for the next 2 turns, and she also absorbs 20% damage that the whole team is taking. So she'll, if you say somebody uses like an AoE skill on the whole team, Liddy will absorb 20% of all that damage that that's doing, which is a really, really good skill for PvP. So, you know, you could probably argue that she's SS, granted that she's not the first person on field to die, because then her passive won't activate. But, you know, other than that, S rank, you know, I guess that's fair. That's fair for Liddy. So then we also have Jade Emperor. Jade Emperor is ranked at S rank. You could probably argue the fact that Jade Emperor is probably SS rank, because he reduces enemies' crit chance, but he also reduces their speed, which speed plays quite a major role in PvP, and will probably play an even bigger role in World Arena, considering that, you know, it's going to be like real-time World Arena, is that what I'm looking for? Or the real-time PvP. I think it's World Arena, that's the real-time PvP. Crit, like, not crit chance, sorry. Speed is going to be really important in World Arena, because the faster your opponents, so if all your opponents are slower than your current team, and you're hitting all of them first, then you can wipe out their entire team before they can even attack you. So that's why I think, you know, you could probably argue the case that you could bump him up to an SS. But I think in our current game modes, you know, S also does make sense. So, I also put Flora on my list. They ranked Flora at a B in lab. A C in lab, sorry. And I said that you could probably give her the benefit of a doubt and give her the B rank, because she also heals. So, yeah, for an S rank character, you know, she does decently in lab. She heals, so I'd probably just give her, just because she heals, I'll give her the B rank pretty much. But continuing on, we have Idle. So they ranked Idle a B in PvP, which I can understand why they've ranked Idle a B in PvP, because she's not going to be as good there as she is in Labyrinth, for example. But I said that you could probably put her up to an A rank, especially in like the earlier rounds where, like, you know, you're not getting hit with like 200k crits or anything like that, because she puts your opponent's defense down. So if you're going against a Kaiser, for example, she'll probably be a pretty good counter to Kaiser, because she'll then lower enemy defense. And she also crits after, stuns the opponent after 3 seals, which could be quite useful. She'll do 3 seals immediately on a C3, so you could stun an opponent for the entire round, turn 1 if you're lucky. So yeah, that's why I said I would probably bump Idle from a B to an A in PvP. So, we also have a Mash. So, they put Mash as, what did they put her? They put her as an S in lab. You could probably argue the case that Mash is double S in lab, because Mash has burn damage, she boosts her own attack with her C1, she has AoE defense down, AoE burn, armor crash with her C2, and her C3 stuns all opponents with 90% probability if your opponents are in burn status. So if you run her alongside Kun, you can actually make pretty good use of her C3, and you don't even really need him to make, you know, pretty good use of her C3. So that's why I'd probably say that she's actually an SS in lab, because, you know, extra damage wherever possible, that's really what you want to be doing in lab. So then we also have Arden. So I said, so they put Arden as an A in PvP, and I said you could probably slide her down to a B, just because she's not great overall. As you can see in the rest, she's like C, B, B, B. Yeah, Arden, she's not going to be that much better for you in PvP. She's definitely not going to do as much for you in PvP as Mash is, and like Sierra. So, I mean, I guess, like, in retro, like, in terms of the rest of like the S rank characters in the game, you know, she might be an A rank compared to them. But like overall, I think you could probably push her down to a B for PvP. And then last but not least, we have Odette, who is C rank in everything. You could probably argue the case that Odette is actually a niche unit. So the niche units on this list is units that don't really have much use besides really specific situations. So, you know, that's a whole lot of the units that you probably wouldn't run at all, like, like no matter the circumstances. I mean, I guess Mori Jin is, you know, he's okay because he stuns. But, you know, Odette, she doesn't really have much, I guess, with her C2. So, I think it's if she crits. I think if she crits with her C2, then your whole field gets 30% attack and 50% defense boost for the rest of the turn. But, like, it's just not, you know, one turn. It's like, it's not that much. Like, you wouldn't really run her over the other, like, buffers. Like, you wouldn't run her over, like, Queen No Name or Kun or anyone like that who also gives the same buff. You wouldn't run her over Kaiser. It's like, you know, you just wouldn't run her. You don't run Odette anywhere. So I guess you could pretty fairly make the case that she's actually one of these. I think she would be the only SS character on this list. Yeah, because a lot of these like A rank, and then you got a couple S rank. Yeah, Odette, I'd say she's probably the only SS niche character in the game. Other than that, this is a really, really good guide for players to, you know, focus their team building around, because you can quite easily identify which characters are going to be SSS in lab, and they'll all run together quite smoothly. So, yeah, thanks again to Milk for making this tier list. I'll leave a link to their description, not their description, I'll leave a link to their Discord in the bio. I'll leave a link to the tier list if you want to browse over the full thing by yourself. But yeah, that's kind of just my thoughts on the tier list. This is a slightly longer video, but you know, I guess there was a little bit that I had to go through. Other than that, I guess that's all I really want to say in this video. If you found this video helpful, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.